Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Uttarakhand High Court orders a stay on the floor test in Assembly tomorrow. Two-judge division bench posts matter for further hearing on the 6th of April. Facing a debt of nearly 7,000 crores, Vijay Mallya and Kingfisher Airlines offer to pay 4,000 crores by September. Supreme Court gives banks a week's time to consider proposal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays tributes to victims of the Brussels terror attacks, says that India stands shoulder to shoulder with Belgians in the wake of the horrific incident. Election fever peaks across poll-bound states. Sonia Gandhi and Rajnath Singh address rallies in Assam. And setback for India ahead of the semi-final clash. Yuvraj Singh ruled out of the World T20 with an ankle injury. Manish Pandey roped in to replace him. Now, top story this evening, the political drama in Uttarakhand is set to continue for a few more days. The floor test that was to happen in the State Assembly on the 31st of March, as directed by the State High Court, will not take place now. This as a division bench of the same court stayed the interim order today following the centre's petition which challenged the floor test. For now, President's rule in the state will continue. Meanwhile, the Union Cabinet has cleared an ordinance to authorise the use of funds by the state government beyond the 1st of April in Uttarakhand.
It's back to square one in Uttarakhand. There will be no floor test in the State Assembly on the 31st of March as directed by a single bench of the Uttarakhand High Court. A division bench of the same court stayed the interim order till the 7th of April, the next date of hearing.
सिंगल जज का ऑर्डर है वो 7 तारीख तक होल्ड पे हो गया है। जहां तक भारत सरकार की बात है, भारत सरकार अपना काउंटर इस पिटीशन पर सोमवार तक देगा। दूसरी साइड पिटीशनर का जवाब मंगल तक आएगा। बुधवार को इसकी सुनवाई होगी।
The BJP termed it a vindication of its stand. The Congress said the stay order was given so as to resolve the matter completely.
सिंगल बेंच का जजमेंट था, न्यायालय डबल बेंच ने उसको ठीक समझते हुए इस मामले में सारी अनिश्चितताओं का समाधान करने का फैसला लिया। तो ये हमारे लिए एक प्रकार की डबल विक्ट्री है।
जिस तरीके से जल्दबाजी में सिंगल बेंच का आदेश था, उसमें स्थितियां स्पष्ट नहीं हो रही थी कि राष्ट्रपति आदेश लगा हुआ है, कौन विश्वास का मत लेगा, ये थोड़े से कंफ्यूजन थे। इसलिए स्टे मिला है, पर हमें विश्वास है क्योंकि हम पहले दिन से भी बहुमत में हैं। हमने जिस दिन डिवीजन मांगा था उस दिन भी हमारे साथ 36 विधायक थे। हम राज्यपाल जी के पास गए, उस दिन भी हमारे पास 36 विधायक थे। आज भी हमारे पास 36 विधायक है।
Rebel MLAs too welcomed the new order.
निलंबित विधानसभा में नेता सदन होगा नहीं, और विश्वास प्रस्ताव या विश्वास प्रस्ताव पे सदन विभिन्न दलों के जो सदन के नेता सदन और नेता विपक्ष, अब जब सदन ही निलंबित है तो कौन नेता सदन कौन नेता विपक्ष। तो इस परिस्थिति को माननीय न्यायालय ने समझा और मैं समझता हूँ अब जो हेयरिंग होगी, हेयरिंग में सारी बातें स्पष्ट हो जाएंगी।
The stay order came in response to the centre's petition challenging the interim order of the single bench. In its petition, the centre sought clarification on whether the floor test can be held when the Assembly is in a state of suspended animation. The State Assembly was suspended soon after President's rule was imposed on Sunday. The centre also told the court that if a trust vote is allowed, there will be two governments in Uttarakhand, as the state is already under President's rule. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Now, liquor baron Vijay Mallya and Kingfisher Airlines Limited proposed to repay 4,000 crore rupees to the consortium of banks led by the State Bank of India by this September. This proposal was also submitted by United Breweries Holdings Limited and Kingfisher Finvest India Limited.
A Supreme Court bench has allowed the consortium of banks 1 week to respond to liquor baron Vijay Mallya's proposal. Mallya owes 6,903 crore rupees to the banks, against which he proposes to pay back 4,000 crore rupees. The court will hear the matter further on the 7th of April. Mallya's counsel has sought that the proposal be kept in a sealed cover as media hype could vitiate the atmosphere.
Vijay Mallya will have to pay each and every paise, otherwise he will also have to go behind the bar. There was a lot of doubt has been raised about the government commitment. Now my Prime Minister also has made it very clear that Mallya will have to pay all his dues.
On the 9th of March, the government told the apex court that Vijay Mallya had left the country while allegedly defaulting on loans of over 9,000 crore rupees from various banks. The government also called for an order to attach money or property and disclosure on behalf of Mallya, claiming that Mallya had assets abroad far in excess to loans secured by him in India. Mallya's proposal has, however, failed to enthuse the erstwhile employees of Kingfisher.
PM is talking about bringing a defaulter to justice, the FM is talking the same thing, but I have not seen any of the representative of the government or this present government who talks about Achhe Din, who talks about people are coming forward to help any of our employees, and so far the employees are just left all by themselves.
According to the government, Mallya was granted loans keeping in mind that Kingfisher Airlines had a fleet of aircraft as well as brand value. Loans were also given as the aircraft were attached to third parties.
The way 5 to 6 lakh crores of rupees of the nationalized banks, how it got NPA, became NPA, because it is public money. And we want from Trinamool Congress that a probe should be made by a judicial commission to unearth the person responsible for making such accounts NPA.
कटौती को उन्होंने भगाने में मदद की थी। कांग्रेस पार्टी और उसकी सरकार उनको जो है वो देश का जो पैसा लूट के गए थे उस लूट को 100% छूट दी गई थी। उसी चीज़ को वो याद कर रही हैं। इसलिए हमें लगता है कि उनको इसकी चिंता नहीं करनी चाहिए। हम उसके आने पाई का हिसाब किताब लेंगे।
पहले तो उसको भारत वापस आना चाहिए, भारत के कानून का सामना करना चाहिए। एक अभियुक्त कहीं पर भी बैठा कोई भी बयान दे दे तो उसका क्या मान्यता है?
Last week, the government also directed public sector banks to immediately invoke personal guarantees of promoter directors and recover loans from them in case the companies fail to repay. The order was seen as an attempt to effectively deal with loan default cases like the one Vijay Mallya is involved in. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Prime Minister Modi began his three-nation tour today with Belgium's capital, Brussels. The Prime Minister is there for the 13th India-EU summit and also met his counterpart Charles Michel. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister also paid tribute to the victims of last week's terror attacks in Belgium.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid tribute to the victims of the Belgium terror attacks at the Malbeek metro station. PM Modi laid a wreath at the metro station where an Indian software engineer was among the 13 killed. Before leaving for Belgium, the Prime Minister had saluted the resilience and spirit of the people of Belgium. He also said India stood shoulder to shoulder with Belgians in the wake of the horrific attacks. In Brussels for the India-EU summit, the Prime Minister also held talks with his Belgian counterpart Charles Michel and with members of the European Parliament.
As a part of our efforts to respond to this common challenge, we could resume discussions on a mutual legal assistance treaty, negotiations on extradition treaty, and a treaty on exchange of sentenced prisoners could be concluded quickly.
I have had, of course, the opportunity to express this morning my condolence to the Prime Minister of India because there is one Indian victim after these terrible attacks in Brussels. This official meeting with the Prime Minister of India was a very important moment in our bilateral relationships. We have a very good and very strong relationships between Belgium and India, and we try to upgrade our relationships. We try to support the economic development in our both countries.
At the 13th India-EU summit, the two sides will deliberate on ways to finalize a free trade agreement.
Terming European Union India's second largest trading partner, the Prime Minister hoped the summit would advance multifaceted engagement across a whole range of sectors. On his 5-day, 3-nation trip, the Prime Minister will also attend the Nuclear Security Summit in Washington, D.C. on March 31st and April 1st. Thereafter, he will leave for Saudi Arabia. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the central government today rejected a purported video convention of a former naval officer who was arrested on charges of espionage by Pakistan. It also charged the Pakistani authorities with cooking up and planting stories to malign India. Pakistani government officials yesterday released a 6-minute-long statement by the arrested man, Kulbhushan Yadav. The video reportedly has Yadav claiming that he is working for RAW and that he is due to retire from the Indian Navy in 2022. Minister of State for Home Affairs Kiran Rijiju said Islamabad is cooking up stories and creating doctored videos to defame India.
The Ministry of External Affairs has already come out with a statement about the forged and the doctored video and the made-up story being created by the Pakistani establishment. We don't have to react after that. The problem within Pakistan is one thing, and then they're cooking up stories and planting and creating doctored videos and all to defame India. Will not have any kind of takers here and in international community also.
Now, in more trouble for NCP leader Chhagan Bhujbal, the Enforcement Directorate today filed its first charge sheet against him in the Mumbai Sessions Court. The charge sheet includes the name of 54 others along with Bhujbal, who have been accused of siphoning money to the tune of 870 crores meant for the construction of the Maharashtra Sadan. Bhujbal's son Pankaj and nephew Samir also figure in the 11,500-page charge sheet. According to ED officials, the case is entirely based on documentary evidence such as fund transfer and bank transactions. A supplementary charge sheet against Chhagan Bhujbal will be filed later. Time now to take a look at what else has been making news around the country nationwide. 7 CRPF Jawans were killed in an attack by Maoists in Dantewala district of Chhattisgarh. The Maoists attacked the CRPF convoy while passing through Malewara in Dantewala, which is considered a stronghold of the militants. A Delhi court today acquitted Manipuri rights activist Irom Sharmila in a 2006 case of attempt to suicide during a fast at Jantar Mantar. Sharmila has been on a hunger strike for 16 years, demanding the repeal of the controversial Armed Forces Special Powers Act. In 2013, Sharmila was taken to trial after she refused to plead guilty. The Supreme Court today approved the central government's guidelines to protect Good Samaritans who help road accident victims from harassment. As per the guidelines, Good Samaritans need not fear harassment by police or any other authorities anymore. The court has also directed the centre to publish the guidelines in the media. The Bombay High Court today observed that no law prevented women from entering a place of worship. It said if men were allowed, then women should also be permitted in places of worship. The court also warned that temples or people imposing restrictions could face a 6-month jail term under Maharashtra law. Time for a short break. All the international news on the other side. Myanmar's transition to a democracy in almost 50 years is completed with the swearing in of the new president. Details on the other side.
Uttarakhand High Court upturns President's rule decision. Chief Minister allowed a floor test, a chance to prove his majority. What does the order mean, and what are the wider implications? Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television. Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries on Rajya Sabha television.
Odds are really stacked against Congress at the moment.
Modi magic has failed every stage now. People will see who can deliver good, who has an experience.
So which card is Congress playing?
We are playing secular cards, inclusive cards.
Badruddin Ajmal says that he is going to be the kingmaker during 2016 elections.
People are the kingmakers, not one individual.
Your trusted aide, Himanta Biswa Sarma, left the party and he's joined the rival camp of the BJP.
I was happy that he left the party.
Watch To The Point with Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now time for all the Assembly election related news and our special segment, Verdict 2016. Congress President Sonia Gandhi addressed an election rally in Assam's Shivasagar district today. Accusing Prime Minister Narendra Modi of going back on promises of development, she said the composite culture of the state would be in danger if the BJP-led alliance came to power in the state.
कांग्रेस असमिया समाज के हर तबके का नेतृत्व करती है। उनको पता है कि पिछले 15 साल में तरुण गोगोई जी के नेतृत्व में असम एक शांतिपूर्ण, एक प्रगतिशील राज्य के रूप में उभर कर सामने आया है।
Now, Home Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a rally in Polband, Assam's Moran constituency, where he claimed that insurgency situation had improved considerably in the last 18 months since BJP came to power. Singh also targeted Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi for failing to stop illegal infiltration from Bangladesh.
यहाँ असम में तो लगातार 15 वर्षों तक कांग्रेस की ही सरकार, गगोई साहब ये बतलाए हैं, उनको असम का विकास करने के लिए कितना और समय चाहिए।
Confident of forming the government in Assam, the BJP is hoping for an unprecedented performance in West Bengal as well, as campaign for the assembly elections in the 5th stage reaches a fever pitch. The BJP's internal assessment paints a rosy picture. According to an internal survey, the BJP in West Bengal has emerged as a force to reckon with. Reports suggest that sources in the BJP believe that the party could win anything between 40 to 50 seats in the state, where it has never had any significant presence. Prime Minister Modi, who has already launched a blistering attack on the Trinamool Congress government, would be addressing 8 to 10 more rallies in West Bengal. BJP President Amit Shah is leading the second line of attack. He is set to address 25 to 30 rallies in the state, while Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh will appear in at least a dozen public meetings. The BJP will field its might with Union Ministers Smriti Irani, Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley going all out to make a dent in the Trinamool Congress's vote bank. And opinion polls conducted by a news channel predicts that Trinamool Congress will get a majority in the West Bengal polls and Mamata Banerjee will retain her position as Chief Minister. The poll also suggests that the BJP will barely make an impact in the polls.
Mamata Banerjee-led Trinamool Congress is set to return to power in West Bengal by winning a majority and getting an increased vote share compared to 2011 assembly elections, says an opinion poll conducted by a news channel. The opinion poll has projected that the TMC will get 178 seats. The Congress Left Party's alliance will be the prime challenger to the TMC and are expected to win around 110 seats in the 295-member state assembly. The survey projects that the BJP will not emerge as a big player in West Bengal and will receive a 5% vote share and will win just one seat, and the others will get 6 seats. According to a statement issued by the Hindi news channel, the opinion poll was conducted in 118 constituencies with 14,450 respondents from 8th to the 20th of March. As per the survey, there is not much difference between TMC and the Left Congress alliance in terms of vote share. While the former will get around 45% votes, much higher than the 39% it got in 2011, the latter would get around 44% share. The BJP is slated to get 5% of the votes. According to the poll, there is a degree of satisfaction with the performance of the TMC government, and 58% of the respondents have found the performance of Banerjee as good or very good, while 16% rated it as poor or very poor. Banerjee is the most popular leader in the state, followed by CPIM veteran Buddhadev Bhattacharya and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Polling for the first phase will take place on April 4th and 11th. Polling for the second phase will be held on April 17th, the third phase on April 21st, fourth on April 25th, and the fifth and sixth phases on April 30th and May 5th respectively. Votes will be counted on the 19th of May. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Time for some international news now, and Myanmar's parliament today swore in its first president with no military ties in more than half a century. Tin Khe, a close aide of Aung San Suu Kyi, took oath in a ceremony in the country's capital. Addressing the new parliament, he said that he would be faithful to the people of Myanmar.
After 56 years of military rule, Myanmar has its first civilian president. Tin Khe is a trusted aide of Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi. He takes over from Thein Sein after his party, the National League for Democracy, won a landslide victory in November. 69-year-old Tin Khe has promised to bring peace and democracy to the country. Suu Kyi, the leader of the NLD party, is barred from becoming president by the army scripted constitution, but will be a part of the cabinet as foreign minister. Tin Khe runs a charity founded by Suu Kyi and has been a trusted member of her inner circle since the mid-1990s. Myanmar Army Chief Min Aung Hlaing and previous government members also attended the ceremony. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some more international news now in Global Buzz. The suspected hijacker of an Egypt Air flight was produced in a court in Cyprus today before being remanded in custody. The suspect, Saif El-Din Mustafa, is an Egyptian charged with hijacking the aircraft with a fake suicide belt and diverting it to the East Mediterranean island. The domestic Alexandria-Cairo flight was diverted to Larnaca in Cyprus on Tuesday with 72 passengers and crew on board. Former Canadian Cabinet Minister Jean Lapierre died in a plane crash that also killed his wife and 3 siblings while they were on their way to his father's funeral in eastern Quebec. The crash took place due to bad weather when the plane was coming into land on the Magdalen Islands in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Provincial police confirmed all passengers and crew members on board were killed. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon today called on all countries to show solidarity and accept nearly 500,000 Syrian refugees for resettlement by 2018. Ban, along with the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, opened up a ministerial-level conference in Geneva, asking countries to pledge places for Syrian refugees to resettle in their countries legally. 2 days after the Lahore attack, the Christian community in Pakistan has urged the government to do more to protect them as a sense of vulnerability is growing among the members of the community. Irshad Ashnaz, the Christchurch vicar, said Christians who number around 2 million in a nation of 190 million people have been the target of a series of attacks in recent years. Some sports now, and in a huge setback to India ahead of the semi-final clash against the West Indies, all-rounder Yuvraj Singh has been ruled out of the ongoing World T20 due to an ankle injury. Yuvraj has twisted his ankle in the previous match against Australia in Mohali. He has been replaced by Manish Pandey, who was called in as cover on Monday. The ICC has approved and confirmed Pandey as Yuvraj's replacement for the remaining matches of the tournament. Manish Pandey last played for India in the 5th and final one-dayer at Sydney in the bilateral series in Australia and signed off with a maiden century. Time now for all the other sporting action in SportsBeat. Defending champion Saina Nehwal advanced to the second round of the India Open Super Series badminton tournament. She defeated round 1 qualifier Tanvi Lad 21-7, 21-13 in a match that lasted just 34 minutes. China will next face Thailand's Nichaon Jindapol in the next round. India's top seed boxers Mary Kom and Shiv Thapa advanced to the semi-finals of the Asia-Oceania qualifying tournament. The players now stand just a win away from clinching an Olympic berth. With the win, the boxers are assured of at least bronze medals, but will have to make the final to be assured of a ticket to the Rio Games. Pakistan cricket coach Waqar Younis offered to resign after his team was knocked out of the World T20 in the Super 10 stage. Former pace bowler Waqar is in his second spell as Pakistan's coach, having first held the job between March 2010 and August 2011. Former T20 champions Pakistan have been widely criticised by fans following a lacklustre performance with just one victory against low-ranked Bangladesh and big losses to India, New Zealand and Australia. Japan's Kei Nishikori advanced to the quarterfinals of the Miami Open. Nishikori defeated Spain's Roberto Batistuta 6-2, 6-4 in a late-night match. He will next face 16-seed Gael Monfils in the quarterfinals on Thursday. The Frenchman beat Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria to reach the quarterfinals. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.